Welcome to Ag on Wheels. We're in Antarctica. I'm with Joe and Erica of Yankee Beef, and tell us where we're at.
We are in North Java, New York at Yankee World Headquarters, where we make maple syrup and do Angus beef.
And we're going to where it's warm to learn how your maple syrup is made and about their local beef.
Yeah, and how we ship it to you.
That's right. Let's go. All right, so we're out in the middle of nowhere with a bunch of blue lines.
Yep.
What is all this about?
Okay, so this is how maple sap is extracted from a maple tree. So what we do is we come up with a 5/16 drill bit and we drill a hole into the tree and we pound the tap in. We put a brand new tap on every year. That's the top plastic piece.
Okay.
And we hook it in. And then the sap runs down through these blue lines, the small blue lines, into the bigger main lines. And so these main lines right here will have liquid in them. The hoop lines right there are supplying vacuum to these main lines. So
and
we're
does
always.
it ever freeze in here?
It will freeze, but it won't hurt anything because these will expand. But there's 2% grade on every line in this wood. They should never be full of sap. When the tree is creating its own vacuum to suck its sap up or down, it's trying to suck the dirty sap back out of the line into the tap hole, which contaminates the tap hole, which then makes the tree heal up sooner. So we figured out through years and years that if we draw a vacuum on these trees, especially when it's freezing up, we can keep the dirty sap away from the tap hole, and a tap hole will last 10, 12 weeks instead of used to be 3 weeks. It's one of the biggest things we've figured out about the maple business. So when the sap comes out of the tree and down through the line, it comes into one of these releaser huts, and there is a vacuum pump in here that's actually drawing a vacuum on the line. Right there it is.
Okay.
And then this is what's called an electric releaser. And as you can see in here, all the lines come in, and once it fills this electric releaser up, it'll trip a switch on it and it'll pump the sap out of here into the storage tank. And it keeps doing that repetitively through the whole day and night as sap is running. You're probably froze to death and we're good, but this is my winter wonderland.
Now that we are out of that,
Right.
we are now in a little bit of a warmer place,
Yes.
which sweet magic happens
Yes.
here. This is
Yes.
a sugar house?
This is called a sugar house.
Okay,
yes.
what happens in the sugar house?
So the sap is brought from where we went to the woods. So half of our sap is brought here on a truck, and the other half is brought here underneath the road from pumps through the woods, right? So so far this year, we brought in about 180,000 gallons of sap.
That's a lot of sap.
It's a lot of sap. It takes about 60 gallons to make a gallon of maple syrup, 60 gallons of sap.
Wow.
So we get rid of 60 gallons, okay? All the sap we brought in comes through a water meter right there, and that's how we measure how much gallons we brought in that day. What you see here, this big stainless steel vat, there's 2 of those. There's 6,000 gallons each. So imagine this tank is 6,000 gallon. When that's full to the brim, there's only 100 gallons of syrup in there.
That's insane.
It is absolutely insane.
Can I go swimming in there?
You absolutely could.
All right.
I wouldn't do it today, it'd probably be a little cold.
Okay, so we're walking to the next step, but I got sidetracked with my ADHD. What happens if I pull this? Like, what does this do or press that? Can I press it?
So the fun part is I have built this sugar house so it's JJ proof.
Okay.
Okay. So you can push and pull just about anything, and it's not really gonna hurt a lot, to be
Dang.
honest.
So now we're in another part of this sugar house.
Yep.
And this is where the real sweet magic happens.
Yes.
How does all this work?
So this is the evaporator room.
Okay.
And what we do is I had mentioned the cooler tank where we freeze the sap.
Yes.
So when we're ready to start boiling, I flip a switch that's directly behind you, and it pumps this tank right here full of that concentrated sap.
All right, ready to make magic happen?
I am, let's do it.
I'm the Texas tornado. I destroy everything in my path.
Lift off.
All right, then I come over here.
Turn that switch on,
Turn
yep.
that on.
Turn
and
the
then-
alarm off. She's ready to boogie now.
All right, I didn't mess
We got
up.
it. We got it. They're good. They're just warm. Don't worry.
Oh, I'm not worried.
Okay,
I
so-
drove out of planes.
So right now we're gonna test the density of the syrup. So grab your cup there and just stick it underneath there and it'll slowly let it fill up. So it's gonna be a little dense right there probably.
Okay.
So the first syrup off's a little dense and we'll have to actually add some water back to it
Okay.
to get it to a correct density. Dead on.
That's perfect.
Yep. So now, put 2 scoops in this bin right here. It's called diatomaceous earth. That diatomaceous earth fills the press and becomes a filter, and we filter out the sand.
Okay.
2 full ones.
2 full ones? Okay. Like that?
Yep.
And put it in there?
Yep.
I'm scared. Okay. 1. Okay.
So then grab your little scooper there and stir it all up.
Okay. Now, so I'm making maple syrup right
You
now.
are making maple syrup professionally.
Is there a
yes.
technique on how to
No,
whisk it?
just stir it right up.
Oh, it's like a facial at the same time.
So now, this is the filter press I explained to you about. Inside of this plate on each way down through is hollow. Okay, and we put these papers in, and that will hold the diatomaceous earth, and it'll become a filter. And that's how it pulls the dirt out, and you'll get this after. See how clean it is?
Yeah.
I'll show you pre-filtered syrup. See how much sand and dirt's in it?
Yeah.
That's why we have to use the filter press. And then all we do is we turn on our valve to pull out a number 1 tub, and it goes into the filter press through the papers, and then it goes into each drum. It's one of my favorite things in the world.
Cheers.
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 Cheers to maple syrup.
Finally getting this done.
Woo.
Nothing better than
It's
pure
so
maple
sweet.
syrup.
That is so good. Erica, you are very hands-on with your husband when it comes to the actual making of the maple syrup. But you have an even bigger role, and that's marketing it.
Yes, so my husband does a lot of the grunt work to create this product.
Okay.
So I'm like the second half of the process, right? I've done all of our branding. I do the website. I handle all the fulfillment, promotions, marketing, pretty much everything after it's made to getting it in a consumer's hand is my department.
Tell us a little bit about how we get it into this bag here and how this little brainchild of the packaging came to be.
So we actually saw this packaging, like a cousin of this, with honey. We saw it somewhere in like a bakery or a diner somewhere, and we were like, if they can do honey in plastic like that, we can do it with syrup. So when our syrup comes out of our filter press, it either goes into a drum or it goes into our bottling machine, and we package it hot, we seal it, and then we sticker it, and it sits here to cool, and then it's literally ready to just go in a box. So we just came over a 1-year anniversary of retail selling maple syrup. So unfortunately, I don't have any benchmarks to say, sales are up, or, we had a record year, being that we're competing against a 0 year. Of course, it was a record year, but I think we feel successful in our launch year. The support's been really good. We shipped to 42 states in the first
High
year.
five.
Yeah, sweet. And actually, one of those was Hawaii. I feel like that's...
Congratulations.
Yeah, I feel like that
That's
was...
great.
We were shocked when that one came through. I was like, girl, we appreciate you. Yeah, she paid shipping to Hawaii on something that is like heavy was.
I can imagine.
Yeah, so it's honestly really popular. People put it in their coffee, in their tea. Just, there's so many uses for it.
Well, I'm just gonna take this whole
Just
table.
fill your
We'll
pockets.
see you guys later. I'm gonna go drink my maple syrup. All right, Erica, so this is your bread and butter, the part 2 of y'all's operation. Tell me about it.
So the maple operation is like his kind of heart and soul, but like the cows are definitely my favorite part. So this is our barn. Right now it's the calving setup of what we're doing. We have a herd of Black Angus cattle that we raise and finish out everything ourselves, and then we do what we call freezer trade.
Okay.
So we sell quarters and halves of beef to people in our community, exclusively locally. We don't ship any beef whatsoever. So we control this process from absolute start to finish. We birth them here, raise them, wean them, finish them. It's a full closed ecosystem here, what we do.
And so for those at home who may not be aware, they may just think, okay, cows, are having babies, da, da, da. It's way bigger than that, which we all know. Explain the process a little bit.
So like last night, he took the long shift last night. He was out here in the barn until 2:30 in the morning. He was just standing watch. This one's starting to go into labor. Okay, this one has feed out. We're monitoring. They're only allowed to have feed out for so many minutes before we offer to help. So then he came in. I came out at like 3:30 and sat for a couple hours. And it's just being there. I always call myself a cow doula. It was like my favorite title that I made up for myself because
I love it.
I don't know. I just wanted a title.
Yeah.
And it's being that insurance blanket, while the cows are doing their thing, because 99% of them can do it alone, right? But that one fluke time, like today, calf got stuck, mama got tired, and she needed help. Otherwise, you're risking the calf.
She forgot to mention that she does all the matings.
That's where I kind of geek out, is like
Right,
creating
there you go.
matings on like, this bull's good for this cow, based on her performance, what we see structurally. So I create within our cow groups a class. So I have like the graduating class of 2018 is all of the ones that were born in 18. I organize the cows by class, and then I pick a bull that I think fits that class. So I just kind of structure it that way so that in case I'm not there and we're doing breeding, he knows kind of what I would like to see done. But it's always fun to play with the matings.